My concern is safety. But there's one safety problem we see evidence of every day. These pieces of rubber lying along the highway. Many people think these are all from retreads. But all kinds of tires, retreaded and new, can separate because of heat and stress caused by underinflation or overload. And it's likely to happen at the worst possible time, driving at high speed. Road checks show that at least 1 out of 4 cars is driving on 1 or more seriously underinflated tires. A tire is seriously underinflated when it is 4 or more pounds below the manufacturer's recommendations. Experts estimate this can shorten the tire's life by up to 50%. Check your tire air pressure at least once a month. Don't let your tires become rubber on the road.
Dr. A.M. Chakrabarty is a microbiologist at the University of Illinois College of Medicine and a grantee of the March of Dimes. He has developed a microorganism that eats up herbicides in soil, suspected of causing birth defects. It leaves the soil clean and free again to nurture living things. Research is top priority in the March of Dimes fight against birth defects.
Support the March of Dimes.
When you have reading skills, it's hard to understand what it's like to be unable to read. This is what a stop sign looks like to 1 in 5 adults who cannot read. Literacy Volunteers of America has a one-on-one tutoring program to help teach reading. Become a volunteer. You discover that you get more than you give when you teach another to read. I'm Wally Amos, asking you to help stop illiteracy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to Anything Goes. I'm Margaret Ann Behrens, and glad that you could join us this evening. For the next hour, we'll be taking your calls and questions for our program tonight, and we've got a special program for you. As many of you know, we are having Dick DeBartolo, who is a writer for Mad Magazine, joining us tonight. Unfortunately, Mr. DeBartolo is stuck in traffic right now. He did call us, and I know he's on his way, and he will be joining us in just a few minutes as soon as he gets up here to Warren. But we've been very fortunate to have a doctor who has agreed to sit in for a few minutes until Mr. DeBartolo arrives. And so you're getting kind of 2 shows for the price of 1 tonight on Anything Goes. I'd like to introduce my guest this evening, Dr. Dennis Wunderlin, who is a memory expert and an author of a book on how you can improve your memory. And Dr. Wunderlin, is joining us this evening, and he'll be giving you some tips on improving your memory. To my far right is a face that many of you are probably familiar familiar with, Mr. Stephen Joyce, who is the general manager here at TKR Cable. He is joining us this evening to talk with both Dr. Wonderland as well as Mr. DeBartolo. So first of all, thank you, gentlemen, both very much for joining us this evening. Dr. Wonderland, I appreciate you stepping in here on short notice.
I appreciate your taking the time. I was driving here in the Boston area and took a chance that something might come along, and you were very kind, and Mr. Joint was very kind to let me be on the program.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Wonderland, this is New Jersey. We're not in Boston.
Oh, you know, it must have been, let's see, Philadelphia Tuesday, whatever. I'm happy to be here.
What is the title of your memory book?
It's 12 Ways to Improve Your Memory.
According to my notes, and I was reading the copy of the book this weekend, it's 10 ways to improve your memory.
Wait a minute. It's 10 ways to improve your memory.
Are you working on 11 and 12?
I'm working on 11 and 12, and will be in part B of the book, which is put out by Barnes. Can I say that?
Sure.
It's Barnes and Dell. It's Dell Publishing.
I see.
But you beat the traffic here.
I beat the traffic here, right. And so anything else you wanted to ask Ms. Hammond?
That's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Steve. I guess at this point we should probably indicate that this is not Dr. Wonderland, thank goodness, or our memories would all be in sad shape. This is indeed Dick DeBartolo from Mad Magazine, who is joining us this evening. And I guess...
Can I now put on my low-key name tag?
Put that right in store so we
never forget.
Never forget, and we don't get you mixed up with our general manager, which is certainly a possibility. But for the next hour, we will be having madcap fun here To Anything Goes, and I hope that you will be enjoying the program and giving us a call this evening if you have any questions for Mr. DeBartolo. And first of all, well, wait, you have to sit up straight so we can catch that.
We got that?
So we can get that on camera.
Okay, whoa, my battery's on.
Okay.
Charged and ready to go.
You know, the lights in here are so bright that and your personalities are so bright.
Just this aura, eh?
Yes? Takes two people to interview me, and we're all three sleeping.
Well, Dick, first of all, let's start. First of all, how did you two meet? Because I would think that knowing Mr. Joyce and having met you, that in and of itself is an interesting story.
Well, I was flying back, I was working on a show in California, and Steve was in first class begging for food. He belonged in coach, and he was, and there was an empty seat.
Did you just, like, go up to first class to check it out?
Yes, and there was an empty seat next to me, and he sat down, and he kept saying, "I'm famous, and I can make you famous."
Actually, the truth is, this is the truth. I sat down in first class. We're coming back from LA to Kennedy, and Dick sat down and said hello, and just we exchanged, "How are you? Nice to meet you." And the flight takes off, and he turns to me very deadpan and says, "You know, I called Pan Am ahead of time and said, please set me next to the biggest buffoon on the plane," and they have. So and we've been friends ever since.
But from now on, whenever I fly, I ask for the no buffoons.
You've learned your lesson.
Right, absolutely.
That's true. But you got extra food that day because I was with you.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, now you've been writing for Mad Magazine for 25 years.
25 years this year.
That's a long time.
I know, and I'm really tired of it. No, actually, I still love doing it. It's you go see a dreadful movie, you get to write a wonderful satire, get all your hostility out. And not only do you get the $6 back that you paid for the movie, but they pay you for writing the satire. So it works out well all around.
What is the philosophy of Mad Magazine? Because I must admit, when Steve mentioned that we were going to have you on the show, and I said, gee, I have not read Magazine.
No. You said, I don't want that jerk on the show.
No. I think you're paraphrasing a little bit, Steve. I think it was you I said I didn't want on the show.
That's right.
But it's... I would think primarily juvenile humor.
And we both look at Steve. Actually, Mad does not do any reader surveys because one of the things we poke fun at in the magazine is surveys and polls and things. But there was another magazine out called Mad Freaks. And Mad Freaks, believe it or not, was a magazine published by Mad fans, and it was a little 12-page monthly magazine. And according to their survey, about 60% of Mad's readership falls between 11 and 18. And the rest of it is 90 years and above. It's not an amazing...
It's a big leap.
It's those
like
middle
recycling.
years that we were... Right. No, the bulk of readership is about 11 to 18. And then we have about 12% adults. The least we have is like 17 to 21, because they feel that they should be reading Playboy or...
More sophisticated
humor, like Time magazine or TV Guide, the in-depth magazine.
So you've never had Alfred E. Newman in a layout in order to attract that particular audience then, huh?
No. Alfred has been on every cover except there was one cover. I have a bag of trash here. And, are you folks hearing me? Is my microphone, is this mic plugged in? No, that was the problem.
Have to have our engineer fix that. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to take out some trash
your bag
here.
of trip?
My bag of trips.
Right.
We can talk as we do this because this has no rhyme or reason, not unlike this show.
Well, have you ever done cable before? That's
nothing. Well, you know what? I was a little show called Muckland, Muckland Television.
That's right.
And
That's right. Well, when I worked for Meadowlands Cable.
That was it?
Yes.
Meadowlark.
And Dick was on our show up at Meadowlands Cable, and he was just being difficult as far as our name. So we're glad you're joining us. You know our name here.
TRM Cable. When they told me I was going to be on TRM Cable, I said, take me there, just don't get me in traffic.
We beat the traffic, though.
Okay, this was the only cover of Mad that didn't have Alfred's picture on it.
Let me
but everybody still knew that it was Alfred E. Newman, because that was the Poseidon Adventure, so Alfred thought that he should be upside down.
And that was it? That's the only one?
That's the only one. Otherwise, his face has been in some form on every issue.
Now, is Alfred E. Newman, is that supposed to be something, when they first originally came up with the concept of the way he looked and whatever,
Yes,
they had somebody in mind?
Yes, Ted Koppel's child. No, Alfred E. Newman actually came from a painless dentist ad in around 1890, and it was just a boy with a tooth missing, and it said, "What me worry, Dr. Romaine, painless dentist." And then it was in public domain, and so Mad started using them. And for the first issues of Mad, Alfred had a different name every issue. And then somewhere along the line, we zeroed in on Alfred E. Newman.
Does that have any significance, Alfred E. Newman?
No, the story at the office is that someone was watching an old movie, and there's a famous musical director, Alfred Newman. And they figured, no, let's just put an initial in there so they don't confuse Alfred Newman with Alfred E. Newman.
Do you have any significance?
No. I have none at all, or I would not be here. I have no taste and no scruples, or I would not be here on TKR?
Very good.
TKR
Very
television.
good. Now, what exactly is your position with Mad Mag? I mean, after 25
Usually
years.
this. And then some days this.
Over there.
Actually, on the masthead, it's called creative consultant. Okay, so one day a week I go in.
It says move the garbage can over here.
That's right.
Move the couch over there.
Is to decide cover ideas or the layout of the magazine. And then in every issue I'm responsible for either the movie or the TV satire, which are the most fun things to write.
So those are the spoofs that you get to do.
Right.
And we were talking before the show, when you go see a movie, you write your spoof in Mad about the movie. Do you see the movie once, twice, 3 times? Or?
Usually once, unless it's a very complicated movie. The hardest kind of movies to do are like James Bond, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Because there are so many twists and turns.
So many twists and turns. In the James Bond movie, there could be 100 or 200 scenes. And then you go home and you go, did the bridge fall before the octopus ate the lady in the dark hat? And you're totally lost. So you go back and sometimes see it a second time.
So when you're sitting there, you're actually.
I usually write. Notes? I usually take notes during the film.
Do you know before you go in, or do you go in? I mean, do you go into every movie and think this might be this is a potential?
No,
or do you kind of know in advance that I'm going to do E.T. and so you go in to see it.
Both yes and no. If there's a blockbuster movie coming out, we know we're going to do it. We knew we were going to do Beverly Hills Cop 2 because the amount of pre-sale on it is incredible. Tomorrow we'll have a meeting to decide whether we're going to do The Untouchables and Predator, because is it Predator?
Yeah, with Schwarzenegger.
we'll see what box office is like for the first couple of weeks. We have a very long lead time because of the artists. They take from now to the time it appears is 6 months.
So I know you brought the September issue here already.
Yeah, September
which will be out for what?
This will be out the end of June of 1988. That's a very, very far
It's a
edition.
collector's item.
Now, I noticed on the cover of the September issue you have Pee Wee Herman
Right.
with Alfred E. Newman. Is it difficult doing comedies? I mean, Pee Wee Herman does a Saturday morning show, which is really comedy for kids. Is it difficult spoofing a comedy?
Yeah, it's not. It's a little easier spoofing a Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse because a lot of weird things go on in his program, but it's very hard to satirize a down-the-line comedy, especially if it's a good comedy. For example, a Mary Tyler Moore show is hard to satirize because the show itself is fairly funny.
Do you have to get their permission to do that?
No.
You just, anybody is fair game to you
Anybody's
guys.
fair game, as long as it's satire without the intent to steal money from beggars, something like that, some rule, some law. It's code 199-7 if you want to look it up. By the
Something
way,
like
does anybody have? Do we have dressing for the salad?
We have fresh fruit over in the
Now, in the
dueling pens.
on the inside under publisher, editor, whatever, there's also a listing for lawsuits.
Right.
Do you get sued often?
I personally get sued about once a week.
But there's a magazine.
Oh, the magazine? May get sued occasionally. Most people like seeing their name in May. You know, the old thing of say anything you want, spell the name right. So most people enjoy seeing satires. There was a lawsuit where Mad did something called the Pictorial 10 Commandments, and it said, "Thou shalt not steal," and it was a picture of the IRS 1040 form. And another was, "Thou shalt not commit adultery," and there was a picture of a motel. And someone from Mad just went down and took a picture of a guy's motel. So the guy said, you're intimating that there's a hanky-panky going on in the... And we said, no, hanky-panky may be adultery, but no. Anyway, so the guy threatened to sue, and Bill Gaines, the publisher, thought he really did have a case there, but he said to the guy, think of how famous your hotel's going to be for having been in Mad. And the guy said, oh, okay. So no one has sued successfly.
And they probably have a blow-up of that page in the
lobby of the hotel. They have a blow-up of the page in the lobby of this station, KRM Video Network.
Right. So you never did tell me what the philosophy of Mad Magazine is.
Oh,
Is there any philosophy?
No, there isn't. It's that everybody gets to write whatever they want. There's no point of view. There's no political point of view. Just whatever's funny, and if it fits in the magazine, we print it.
Does it need to be funny for you or funny for that 11 to 18-year-old?
For us. We always think of ourselves as kind of writing Carol Burnett sketches. As a matter of fact, several of the writers have worked on the Carol Burnett show when it was on the air.
And so it's just, anything like strike you as very funny and you got it in there and it was like, this is stupid. Although that's not necessarily a good gauge of whether or not it's a success.
Yeah, no, sometimes what I normally do is write something, and before you hand it in, you just stick it in the desk drawer and you read it 3 days later. If it's still funny, then you're pretty sure 6 months later it's going to be funny. If 2 days later you go, who broke into my apartment and wrote this on my stationery? This is awful.
We do that with a lot of Steve's memos.
Oh, you really?
That come out.
Yeah, but those, you usually know right away that they're awful.
right.
You don't have to wait that extra 2 days.
Dick said that, Steve, not I.
But what magazines do you read besides Mad? Do you read National Lampoon? Or
No.
Do you read Cracked?
No. Seriously, I read People. You have to read the magazines to know what's current.
Yeah,
to know what's
get
current.
kind of a gauge of where people
and
are.
then the only other satirical magazine is Time.
Okay, we're going to take a short break here on Anything Goes. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with our madman, Dick DeBartolo, and we will be back right after this.
Hi, I'm I'm Billie Jean King, inviting you to feel the fast-paced action of professional tennis with TKR Cable, Channel 6. When the Howard-powered New Jersey Stars take to the court this July in exciting Domino's Pizza team tennis play. See the action live in July at the Somerset Hilton or follow the Stars on Channel 6. To order your tickets, call the Stars ticket office at the Somerset Hilton, 469-2600. I'm Billie Jean King, and I'll see you in July when the Stars come out at night.
Home equity loans. How many different kinds are there? While most banks offer few options, Amboy Madison National Bank gives you 3 to choose from. Equity Line Fixed, and now introducing Equity Line Plus, a variable rate credit with a ceiling of 12.75%. 3 options with flexible terms. Call 1-800-AMB-MTGS. It may be the last loan you ever need to ask for.
Amboy Madison National Bank, choice banking. Back with Anything Goes. My guest this evening is Dick DeBartolo from Mad Magazine and Steve Joyce from TKR Cable. And we are here taking calls and questions that you may have this evening and also talking about Mad Magazine and a number of other things that Mr. DeBartolo is in. So I hope that you'll take the opportunity to talk with us tonight. We've got a caller on the line, so we're going to go to the phones. Hi, you're on Anything Goes.
Hi, I'd like to speak to Dick, please.
Yes.
Speaking, listening.
Dick, I have been a fan of yours for many years.
Well, I'm happy to... Do you know this voice sounds familiar? Is this my mother?
You got it.
Is it my mother?
Well, I don't know how many lovers you have.
No, wait. No, there's a big difference between a lover and my mother.
Yes, Dick, this is your lover, Beverly Murphy.
Beverly Murphy.
I could not pass up this opportunity to speak to you.
But, Beverly, where did you get the dime?
I've been saving my money.
Oh, great. I've seen you perform, and I'm glad you did.
Suppose, as long as I have you on the air, I would just love to know, in your opinion, do you think that game shows are rigged?
I think we need to kind of go back here a little bit. Obviously, this is a voice from your past, Mr. DeBartolo.
Certainly is. You can say something.
This is very funny because I did a show with Beverly Murphy, and she's kind of like the Mike Wallace of cable. She suckers you into coming into this. She says, "Oh, Dick, come down, and we'll talk about how Mad is, and I know you write game shows." And so I go to this studio, which was a garage with a single camera in it, and
we had 2.
yes, but Beverly, one of them was a Polaroid, and the other was a Brownie. It was the only television show where you had to sit still in your chair because the image was blurring. So anyway, she said, "Dick, you wrote for the Match Game, didn't you?" I said, "Beverly, I wrote for 17 years." And she said, "So tell us about the fixing of the game shows and the bribing of the host." I'm going, "Beverly, what are you talking about? The FCC monitors all that."
You didn't do it. I realized it was a high point in your career. This is your second. This is why I wanted to call and congratulate you.
Oh, to be on KYM Cable is second only to being in your garage.
No. When you have Steve Joyce with you, you're up at top.
Steve's not here today. What is your name?
Great talking to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Really good.
It was really a thrill. Bye. Take care.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
I never knew, she's so multi-talented. I did not know that in addition to hosting a show, she could dial a phone.
The list goes on and
on. And on. Next, she'll be writing a letter, and I think that letter is A.
So a little blast from the past.
A little, you know what, before we go on, are we sure that the signal's getting out? Because this was in the garage. The satellite dish has fallen off the building. The signal's still being received, I hope.
And we also have very strict rules about guests coming on. Did you...
Oh, you know what? This is a tough station. This is the only show I've ever been on. Guest drug sample test to be on this show. I've put this off until after the program. And one other thing.
You found out about us. We've lost everything here.
There is now television deregulation of all cable shows. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a $5 surcharge to watch the rest of this interview. Now, it's going to be on the honest system. So if you'd like to either tune out now, or if you could send $5 to Dick DeBartolo, Mad
Care
Magazine.
of Margaret Ann Behrens.
No, just send it directly to me. Otherwise, I don't think I'll see the money. Just care of Mad, New York City.
Well, we did have a rate increase last month, so our subscribers are used to...
I understand that the rate increase is going to be every month now. So you people at KYR have a lot to look forward to.
Dick, is it tough to come up with somewhat funny things week after week, month after month?
Tonight.
Right. This very second.
Can you do it on call? If I tell you, be funny, will you be able to do that for us tonight?
I doubt it, right. Because it's tough to come up with an answer to this question. Why is the deficit so big? No, not really. I think there's something that sets in called mind warp after a while. And one of the problems of going to the movies after writing movie satires for 25 years is that you're sitting through the saddest movie and the audience is in tears and you're going, oh, because you have an entire other movie going through your mind. So once you get that warped kind of thing, not unlike Steve's mind here, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. So you can just kind of call up. Is there a lot of interplay between you and the other writers?
No, I hate the other writers.
You do. I would think that would give you good impetus, though, to be.
Well, I am impetus, but I'd rather not. That's a whole other. If we're not taking those kind of phone calls.
But we can make arrangements for you to be on Dr. Ruth's show.
Oh, okay, please, Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Roos, is that, I saw that in one of these. Dr.
Yes,
Roos
we
was
call
in
her
there.
Dr. Roos.
Dr. Roos.
Now, you've been doing other television besides TKF,
wherever we are.
You're doing Regis this Friday.
Yeah, I do consumer spots on Regis's morning show on Channel 7, and I used to be on a local show on Channel 5 called Saturday Morning Live,
which was canceled right after.
Which was canceled during my first appearance. No, I was on that show for 2.5 years, and
you're doing CBS Morning News.
I do the morning program with Mariette Hartley.
And now you can add TKR to your
Well, this is at the very
this
top.
Is the pinnacle,
this is
obviously.
the pinnacle of my success right here.
But you do, I think that's interesting that you do something as lighthearted and humorous and stupid.
Infantile,
right.
yes.
Right, I don't want to
You don't have
my
to
guest
beat around the bush.
I don't have to
First
be nice
of all,
to you.
wait, I have just one complaint here. They told me, you see, to drive out from New York City to here is about 5 hours, okay, if you want to avoid traffic. They said, Dick, come on out. You're going to be on the air with Anne Margaret. Okay?
That was good how that...
This is not Anne Margaret. This is the way she's listed in the phone book. But this is Margaret Ann. But it's all right, I'm here.
It worked. You're here.
I'm here. I don't want to drive back 5 hours to the city without at least a roll of videotape, which they promised me, for $5.
For $5. Surcharge.
Surcharge.
Well, she's not Anne Margaret, but she does know some famous men.
Oh, really? Who do you know? Who do you know that's famous?
You have to guess.
Let's see. I once was on Match Game with Hugh O'Brien.
He's an old friend.
Is he really?
Oh, sure.
And what do I win?
A 4-hour ride home.
A 4-hour ride home is right. Plus, we'll only charge you $10 for the for tonight. Absolutely. Well, obviously, Steve's been feeding you some important information
yes,
here.
certainly
so
no
let's
lunch.
ignore Steve for the rest of this
Right.
because I don't necessarily want to have to poke fun. Is there anything that you won't poke fun at? Is there anything that's off limits that you guys won't go for?
Well, we don't do religion. We're probably we're touching a little bit on the Tammy Baker thing because
That's too funny not to.
I think they took that out of the realm of religion. Will you back me up on that, folks? That's more of a circus. But no, we don't attack anybody's religious beliefs. And politically, again, you have to remember, like, we can't do anything about, like, say, Oliver North, because in 6 months, who knows where that story's going to be.
But you do political predictions, don't you?
Predictions. Well, we're running Alfred E. Newman for president again whenever the big election is. Alfred will be there, and I'm his campaign manager.
Did you ever do any political predictions at all for any elections?
We did, and I'll show you that because this was an incredible. It's probably on the floor. Let me just see here.
What am I looking for?
We're looking for. Here it is. This was an incredible thing. I'll just have to hold that myself for a second.
Okay.
Can we? Is that clear of the things?
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
Right.
Okay. The day that Kennedy was elected president, Mad beat the New York Times and the Los Angeles Times with Mad congratulates John Kennedy. Now that was a lot of serious talk in the office about issues and campaign promises and the popular vote. And the fact that the back cover of Mad was this. And we shipped 2 million copies to the newsstands and said, you know, the second the election's decided, display Mad with the proper cover forward. So it's a lot of political clout that way.
Yeah, really made some
Well, you know, the difference about Mad between a National Lampoon, for instance, is Lampoon really, there's nothing is sacred.
That's right.
And so has anyone ever submitted a spoof or an article where Bill Gaines said, this is too far?
Yes, well, we don't have anything, there's no frontal nudity. Except in the office. There's no frontal nudity.
That's how we do our office.
I was in this office over here. And also, I must say, the people here at RFM Cable have been so nice. I came in, Steve said, everybody in accounting, this is Dick DeBartolo. No one looked up. I asked for a rate card. The man said, for what reason do you want a rate card? Anyway, yes, we don't do nudity. We don't print any profanity. If you can print profanity, it makes writing comedy easier, because any time you can't think of a joke, you
put in some exclamation points.
Right, and so we avoid that too. But outside of that, and you know, as I said, people's religion.
Now you've been doing this for 25 years. How did you start? What happened? First of all, why did you do this? Why did you pick
being dropped on my head as a baby. No, I used to read Mad, and I used to think, oh, I wish I could write for Mad, because there was such a responsive chord to this thing. Actually, it was an AC chord. So after a while, I wrote an article that I thought Mad might like, and I sent it to Mad. And if anybody has submitted anything to a magazine, you know you must send a self-addressed stamped envelope, or they will throw it away if rejected. So 6 weeks later, I got back the big envelope with my own handwriting and postage, which is always bad news. You're hoping to get a small envelope back, which is a check. And I actually just threw the envelope on my desk, and later that day I thought maybe it's a handwritten rejection. So I tore open the envelope, and it was stuffed with cardboard, and stapled to the cardboard was a check, and scribbled on the cardboard it said, "Ha ha, thought we rejected your article, but we didn't, we bought it, and here's a check, and we'd like to talk to you about writing more for Mad." And I freelanced back and forth for a while, and then have hit every regular issue for 22 years.
Are you the only person to be in every issue for 22 years?
The only writer. A lot of the artists have been in every issue for 22 years.
Do you collaborate with your artists, or do you just do the story and the artist then goes to town with
Yes,
it?
it's done that way. We don't work together, but the scripts are done kind of like a movie script. They're done panel by panel. You say in the opening, a splash is the opening page, the full page, and it says in the opening splash, I just finished Beverly Hills Slop 2, we're calling it. It says opening splash, we see Eddie Murphy doing this and this. In the background, we see this and this. In the foreground, we see so-and-so. And then the artists add a lot of their own shtick.
You have never heard from anybody you've ever satirized, have you?
Only kind of interesting letters. I did the takeoff on Lost in Space. Do you remember that show?
Oh, sure.
Lost up in Space?
Yeah, boy, he has an incredible memory.
He's got a complete collection of Mad magazines in his office that if he has a management problem, he goes to.
Boy, well, it was Lost Up in Space, and we did a joke where everything on the planet was giant. Someone comes in and goes, "Everything on this planet has grown to giant size," and someone says, "That's an enormous watermelon." He says, "This is a pea. You should see the watermelons." Well, we got a letter from, remember, who was the star of that show?
Guy Williams and Maureen, Lassie's mother.
Lassie's mother, June Lockhart.
Right.
June Lockhart said they enjoyed the satire, but to watch, because in 3 more weeks, they had already taped an episode where they land on a planet where everything is, which is great coincidence. They were also stealing a lot of our plot lines. I did a show with George Siegel once, and I told him on the lunch hour that we had just satirized something in Mad, and we had to run down the newsstand and buy 20 copies so he could give them away. So in general, people love seeing their name in print.
Who do you think is funny? Who are your favorite comics I know you're good friends with Soupy Sales, but...
Yeah, I wrote for Soupy Sales for a long time. I think Carson's a master. Letterman's extremely funny. I have favorite movies that I watch endlessly. I watch Airplane 1 endlessly, Top Secret, love it, and a series that only lasted 5 episodes called Police Story.
Police Squad.
Yeah,
Police Squad.
Leslie Nielsen was in that one?
Yes, from the people who did Airplane. Hysterically funny.
That's on video now. It's
On video. And Julia Child. I guess that those are my favorite comedians.
Favorite ones.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a short break here on Anything Goes, and when we come back, we will continue our mad conversation with DeBartolo. That's a hard name to get out like a numerous times. And Steve Joyce, which is also a tough name. We'll be back right after this.
Nature? A home aquarium lets you enjoy beautiful fish in a natural setting. Fascinating, educational entertainment for the whole family. And for your aquarium, there's nothing better than world-famous Tetra products.
Be a part of Tetra's wonderful world of tropical fish. If fish could talk,
we'd ask for Tetra.
And we are back with Anything Goes. My guest is from Mad Magazine, Dick DeBartolo, and Steve Joyce, who is here from TKR Cable. One of the things that I was wondering about is, I mean, you've been in, how long has Mad been published?
Mad this is its 35th anniversary.
35 years. Have you ever done advertising, or in order to, I mean, I looked through the recent ones, I didn't see any.
In the very early Mad, there was 2 issues that had ads in them, and the first issue, first of all, they were terrified, the advertisers, that people would think it was a satire. So all around the edge it said, real ad, real ad, real ad, real ad, real ad, right, okay? So they ran, the first issue had 2 or 3 ads in it. And then people wrote in to Bill Gaines, a publisher, and said, oh, now you're going to take ads and you won't satirize your advertisers. So in the next issue, they had the real ad, and on the opposite page, they satirized the real ad. And then they got mail saying, oh, sure, now you're giving them twice the space. So Bill said, this is never, ever going to work. But a lot of people unfamiliar with Mad swear that Mad takes advertising. For example, I'm sure that you've seen this ad in newspapers around town. It runs, I think we have to just tilt it down just a little. Okay, now actually, you've never seen that ad in the newspaper because this is a Mad satire on this ad. And as you can see, the Mad takeoffs look very close. It's only when you start reading it and you see, get 8 records for a penny when you buy 13 more at club prices. It's like getting 21 albums for the price of 57. So it's not until you start reading the ads that you realize that they are takeoffs. So there was another cigarette. This was all carefully until the crew threw everything on the floor. They said, Dick, are you going to need this stuff?
And we just threw it away.
Let me ask you a question. What is the circulation every month? Do you publish 12 times a year, or is it 10 times?
No, Mad publishes 8 regular issues a year, and they do 4 specials. So Mad comes out 12 times a year.
And what is your circulation?
Mine is 98.6. Right. Circulation is 1 million. We have 80,000 subscribers and 1 million paid circulation. There's another ad that looks very much like the real ad. You know, the You Found Out True Cigarettes? And I'm sure that they were thrilled with that.
I'm sure they were.
Right. Anyway, so we don't take ads, but we sure do satirize them.
Now, obviously, we were talking a little earlier, with all these different issues, they must be collector's items.
Boy, the early ones especially, Mad #1 in mint condition is worth $400. And the story I hear most often when I travel and do shows is usually after you do a show and you're leaving the studio, someone says, I had every issue of Mad in my closet and my mother threw them out. Evidently, what happens is they save them as kids, then they move away from home, and their mother figures they don't need them. But yeah, the early editions are worth a lot of money.
So collectors are now at landfills trying to find them.
Trying to find them. Also, we tell people, if you buy Mad now and just save them for 50 years, some investment.
What about these? I see you have a couple of different
ones. Well, these are magazine ideas that we thought were hysterically funny but didn't quite make it, or at least this one is here. This is Mad proudly salutes American industry in its endless quest for perfection. And you can see the staple line is down the middle of the cover. Well, the distributor started sending them back and saying, guys, you sent us defective covers. So we had to attach a little note to the distributors and said, guys, that's the joke.
Isn't it amazing how quick America is?
This was for collectors, okay? You went to your newsstand and you saw...
Let me do it on this camera,
okay,
and
good.
then that way they
fine.
can get you.
Okay, I'm going to move the salad bar.
Okay, great.
Here we go. Went to the newsstand and you saw this cover of Mad and you said, oh, isn't this funny? They stamped this number on Mad. Now, when you picked up Mad to buy it, there's a different number underneath. And then when you pick that up, another number, and yet another number. Mad printed 4 separate covers and had them distributed so that the 4 different numbers would be, so if you went down 4 more numbers, it'd be the same 4 numbers but in a different sequence. So that was the most complicated distribution job that Mad ever did.
Did that work well?
Yes. People who caught on had to buy 4 copies, so it worked very well.
Well, you say you have 1 million circulation every issue.
Every issue, right? 1 million.
How many of those are from subscription?
Only 80,000. And there's a wonderful thing. The wonderful thing about Mad is that they live up to, we put down subscriptions. We put down the endless mail campaign. So if you subscribe to Mad and your subscription runs out, you get a single postcard and it says, ha ha, lucky you, your subscription has expired. If you wish to renew, the current rate is. If you don't wish to renew, you will never hear from us again. And that's it. The names are, the mailing list is never sold. The names are deleted. And I used to subscribe to Popular Mechanics 8 years ago. I still get something from them every month. Mr. DeBartolo, are you sure that you don't want to resubscribe? You know, and then 2 months later, Mr. DeBartolo, this is your last chance. Mad never does that. If you don't wish to resubscribe, that's it. You'll never hear from us.
Okay, well then we don't have to worry about that.
You don't have to worry. And you can even keep this issue and we won't dun you for the money.
You know my favorite books. How many books has Mad published? By
there are 150. Paperbacks
My
total.
favorite of all of them was It's a World, 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 World Mad.
Yes, that wasn't ours. The Lampoon did that. no, right.
How long does it take? Do you write books?
I've written 12 paperback books. I did one on advertising since I love, ads and how funny ads can be. And I've done several movie books.
How long does it take to put together a book?
They give you 2 years, believe it or not. But
well, the stapling really gets in the way.
The stapling is very difficult. Usually if you have 2 years to write a book, you write it 3 months before it's due. And most of that's the night before because you go, I have to give the money back if this is not due at 9 in the morning.
And the money's been spent.
And the money was spent the night they gave it to you. So usually I'd say 3 3 to 5 months to write a book.
You also do Mad Minutes. What are Mad Minutes?
Mad Minutes are little silly 1-minute commercials. Alfred E. Newman has a bunch of dreadful companies, and we send them to disc jockeys. You know, it's like, hi, Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's Maddest Rider with another Mad Minute, brought to you by Turbulent Air Airlines, the only airline whose frequent flyer plan lets you take luggage from the carousel free. And it's all these dreadful ads. We have the manufactured handed over bank where you can get a card that holds up cash machines. So they're just little silly things that DJs
love.
Steal.
Yeah, steal. Right, right. And we have fake weather forecasts. You know, we have the forecast for the entire country. Rain, fair, cloudy, sunny, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 in some spots. that kind of thing.
You said you like that. You were talking about advertising before. What are your favorite ads to make fun of, and what do you think the funniest ads are?
Well, I love the new Isuzu commercial. You know, the guy, you know, buy one for $3 and they super everything.
He's lying.
And he's lying. I love that. I would have loved to have been there when the poor guy who conceived that pitched it to the client, you know. One of the most fun things is every once in a while, an advertiser decides they should have a Mad Magazine approach, you know, and they'll say, come up to the office and be wild and crazy and we're open to anything. And then you go in and, you know, 11 people are sitting there in business suits and you be wild and crazy and like they stare at you like...
They don't get it.
No, and you go, I don't think I should
This may not have been the right approach.
That's right.
One.
So that commercial I love. Most commercials today are pretty boring. As a matter of fact, the problem with commercials today is that they don't have any big campaigns, which makes it hard for us to satirize. The last series that I did was the American Express commercials, Don't Leave Home Without It, because that was a national campaign that ran for about a year. But the problem now is that commercials are being changed very often. Maybe every 3 months there's a whole new campaign. And not enough time for us to get in and satirize
and have it be timely.
Yeah,
what about
exactly.
Max Headroom? What do you think of Max? Because he's doing the Coke commercials now, and
we
he's got
love
his own
Max.
show.
Max made one of our covers, as a matter of fact.
We did?
Yeah. Ta-da! Max was our Man of the Year.
Head of the Year.
Head of the Year, yeah. And so no, I like that.
Alfred E. Headroom.
Alfred E.
Right
Headroom,
there.
yeah.
Which issue has sold the most copies?
The most copies ever was that Alfred Poseidon Adventure issue. That was the height of Mad, which was over 2 million copies.
Just because he wasn't on the cover?
He wasn't on the cover. That was the first of the disaster movies. This, by the way, is the first of the disaster cable shows. So we're all in on kind of on the ground floor. So that was the biggest selling. But also, statistically, there are far less teenagers now. And the reason I know that is from writing game shows. 20 years ago, when we used to go to the studio, the host would go, and tell us about yourself. And she'd go, I'm a housewife, and I have 17 children. Hey, yay, 17 children. You know,
You're
now,
applauding because those are 17 Mad readers coming up the ranks.
But now everybody has 1.2 children, and it's that 0.2 child that's very hard to conceive.
Now, you mentioned, let's get away from the Mad because you're saying you're a game show writer. What game shows do you write, or have you written for?
Well, I wrote the Match Game for 17 years and was nominated twice for an Emmy, but did not win one, which shows that there is some integrity in the Academy. I worked on What's My Line for many years. I worked on a summer show called That's My Line, where we put on people who did unusual jobs. Worked on To Tell the Truth for 5 years.
Okay, To Tell the Truth. Are game shows fixed?
Do you ever talk to a woman called Beverly Murphy? No. Game shows.
I mean, is that, you know, some of us at times think game shows are not exactly intellectually stimulating material.
I agree.
And proud of it?
That's it's the American way. No, you know, one of the attitudes I have about game shows is that we're sure not writing Gone with the Wind, but if you're ironing or doing something and you want some light entertainment in the background, you know, we're there to provide it. Your turn, Steve.
Jump in anytime. I think we're going to jump into a break right now.
Oh, good.
We will be back.
And then we'll be back on the Home Shopping Network. Coming up, the mug collection. Normally $5,000. Be $5 here. Come back.
Come back, and we will be back right after this.
This week on Growing Up in the 80s.
What do drugs do to us?
They bankrupt us physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
A decent baseball player saying to make the pros because they're on drugs and believing it.
You think you're taking steps up and you're feeling higher, but you're really gradually taking steps a lot lower.
The second part of Drugs and Teenagers on Growing Up in the 80s, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. on Channel 6.
The issue that we're going to address this evening is one which may affect each and every one of us during our lifetime. The issue is AIDS. The city of Elizabeth is going to save $169,344 this year as a result of that.
I gotta
is it
know,
true?
No, it's so fake, it's pathetic.
Do you really want the audience to believe that this is really for just 1 minute of quieting down? Do you really think they're going to believe that?
And we are back with Anything Goes. Dick DeBartolo from Mad Magazine is joining us this evening. And we've got a caller on the line. We're going to go to the phones right now. Hi, you're on not Candid Cable, Anything Goes.
You're on Candid Camera.
You're on Anything Goes.
Hi. I had a question about the quality of Mad. I wondered if it varied over the years. Like, you know, some TV shows were supposed to be very good at the beginning and never as good after that. Has Mad gone up and down, or stayed the same, or got better?
You know, we have what's called flat circulation for about 10 years, where the circulation stays at 1 million. So I think what happens is that as the people we talked about getting 18 and 19 start dropping off, the youngsters fill in that gap. So I don't know if, I think there are issues at the office that we thought were better than others because this worked and this didn't. A lot of times we feel the quality issue almost reflects what you're saying, is that a TV show that we satirize was funny. The TV show itself was so good that we didn't have enough material to make fun of them. And so it's a milder satire. I don't think we have hills and valleys. I think it's more or less a flat quality, which is zero quality.
It's constant on
It's constant, right. And we never rise above that.
I started buying it again after a long time because my daughters were interested in it, and they were teenagers.
Do you read it yourself, or do you?
From time to time, when I pick it up for them. I don't read that many magazines, but when I've read it, I liked it.
Good.
And did you read it as a child or a teenager yourself?
Well, it was popular when I was, let's say, 15 and 14 in the early 60s.
Okay, let's say when you were 14 or 15. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I bought it off the, at the magazine store. I never had a subscription.
It's much better than buying it at the butcher.
Yeah, but thanks a lot. I enjoyed it. I hope you do one of the movies you mentioned, because I don't go to movies that much, and I just saw one of them. I'd love to see it satirized.
Which one was that?
The one with Arnold.
The Predator.
Predator, yeah, I just saw it, and I saw one of the TV shows did a comment on it, a critique of it, and it was excellent critique. I mean, it gives a lot to make fun of.
Oh, good, okay. Yeah, it's either going to be that
Great.
and The Untouchables or both. So we're leaning toward both right now.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to look for it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
Terrific.
bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
That
Bye-bye.
was the entire subscriber population of TKR Cable. Thanks for calling, sir.
What's the article that you did that's been your favorite over the 25 years?
My favorite, I think, was, do you remember the TV show Kung Fu?
Yes.
Right. The takeoff was Kung Fool, F-O-O-L, and that show was so serious. And I remember the opening panel. I don't know if you remember the show. The show always started out with the little boy saying, "Master, when will I know that I am to a master?" And he says, mosquito, or I think his name was Grasshopper, we called him Mosquito. We'd say, Mosquito, when you can fetch this stone out of my hand before I close it, you are a master. And the kid goes, oh, you mean like this? And the master goes, how about 2 out of 3? So that kind of, and then there were all these parables. He'd go, Grasshopper, who is richer? A man who has a sack of gold, or a man who has but a blade of grass? You know, the kid's thinking, oh, a man who has but a blade of grass. And the master says, what are you kidding? A blade of grass? That doesn't worth 2 yen, you stupid, you know. And all the way through, the parables keep switching back and forth, so the kid never knows where he's at.
Okay, we've got another call we're going to go to right now. Hi, you're on Anything Goes.
Yes, I'd like to know how Alfred E. Newman came about.
That we were mentioning that earlier, another collect call. I've never been on a show where, you know what, this is the only show where you have to give your credit card number to the engineer so that they can bill the cards to my home phone. He was a dentist ad from the 1890s with a caricature, and no one knew if it was a real photo or an artist's conception. And it said, what me worry, Romaine, Dr. Romaine, painless dentist, and Mad just started using his likeness. Don't forget to send me the $5 surcharge, because you're obviously watching after the free period.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're kidding.
I don't.
That was a joke.
Oh, that was a joke.
Just wanted to
I'm
make
not
sure
getting
you
$5?
know. No. Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Now, I think it's interesting, Dick, because here you're talking.
You really?
I do.
Right.
Well,
okay.
I figure we get a little bit of
time,
interesting
it's 5 to 7.
You do consumer work. You do serious work besides mad work, or is it not serious what you're doing?
It's serious. Yeah, it's sort of serious. I do a segment called Mail Order Rip-Offs, where we send for every dreadful product, or you don't know it's dreadful till you get it. And then we show, this is one of the things we're doing Friday on the morning show. But I get some humor out of it. One of my favorite things, and the thing that got the biggest audience reaction, was I sent for the $21 copper bottom pots, okay? And then we show the ad, and then we show what arrives in the mail. And then I said, you know, they tell you in the ad that the pots are easy to clean and that they're fast cooking, but they overlook probably the best thing in the world is that if you're going on vacation and you want to take the pots with you, they do fold up for easy storage. And you can fold
You could actually fold
Oh, you can fold the pots in half. I mean, the copper is so thin that someone told me, a lady in the audience stopped me after the show and told me that she bought them and used them, and that after a matter of weeks she burned a hole right through the bottom of the pot. So yeah, so I try and get some humor out of it, but yes, I recently got a call from the Better Business Bureau saying to keep up the good work, because we were saving people money and trying to get bad people out of business, which is why this is the we all saw that coming. This is the final Everything Goes on RFMK cable.
Well, Dick, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I know it's hard to believe.
I'm not coming back for the second half hour?
It's hard to believe that the show has gone by so quickly, I bet. And I'll be looking for us being satirized, right, like local cable television shows.
I'm sure, and you will look high and low for that satire.
But thanks very much.
Thank you. I really had a great time.
Hope you'll be back, and good luck. We'll be talking with you again soon.
Thank
Steve,
you.
thanks for being with us.
And I have to drive him back home.
Well, make sure you just don't avoid the traffic, okay?
Right.
And we thank you very much for being with us tonight on Anything Goes, and we will see you again next time. Good night.
Thank you.
comments about the program to Anything Goes, TKR Cable Company, 67 Mountain Boulevard Extension, Warren, New Jersey, 07060.